Hi, okay. I think the universe is speaking to me, and I think they're telling me to not be so scared to be gay. Which, like, I'm not scared to be gay, because, like, I've been gay for my whole life. Um, and I've been out for, like, a while now. But it's just. So I'm, like, coming to terms with the fact that I think that I'm going to end up marrying a woman and, like, having a life with a woman, which is like a dream. I'm so happy about that, but I'm scared and I'm terrified because I've always wanted to be a mother, and the idea of having to deal with the whole like medical world and like IVF and whatever the fuck when it comes to having a child, when like a man's not there to just give me, what I need, the tools I need to have a child, is just it's so stressful to me. So I feel like I need to work through my fears. And this is just so funny because I recently was like, Spirit, please, like, send me a sign. Like, if I'm meant to be with a woman, send me 888. And I didn't see 888 for like the first like few hours of me asking for that sign. And then I was seeing it everywhere, and I've been seeing it ever since. And now on my page, these people, this lesbian couple, Victoria and Lindsay, popped up on my like page on YouTube, and it was like a fertility Q&A, which is like so classic because that's literally my worst, like that's what's holding me back. And it was like about their donor, and like they were a mixed race couple, and that's another thing that I have a fear of. I'm like very scared about my children and like what they'll be like, and it's hard to explain, I guess, to anybody who doesn't have this experience. But like for me, it's important that I am able to raise black children, or especially daughters that are recognizably black, because I want to be able to give young black girls, and who will eventually evolve into black women, should that be their identity. I want to be able to give them a really good life. That's important to me. My heritage and my race, it is important to me. And I want to pass that down, and I want to raise children who have a recognizably black experience in a way that is joyful and abundant and happy. That's something that means a lot to me. And of course, whoever I end up with, I would be so happy no matter what my children end up being like, looking like, what their race is, what their identities are. But having black children, it would be a special gift for me. And so it's always been a bit of an anxiety in the back of my mind around who I would end up with, because obviously I'm not going to turn down my person because they're not black, but it's something I feel anxious about. And so then I think about being in a couple with a woman, and the woman not being black. And so then I think about like the donor, and how would that work? In my dream world, what the situation would end up being is that we have a donor who like is somehow a perfect mix of us both, but like also somehow still like majorly black. And like kind of exists as like a third person in our relationship, but like purely as like a father role. And is like actively a part of like our children's lives, but is also like a bachelor who doesn't really like, he's like off on his own. He like goes fishing and hunting, and like he brings me salmon, and then when we want kids, he gives us children. And he's a part of our children's lives, but like he's busy being like some type of nomad or something. That's like my dream. But the reality, I don't know what the reality is. It all terrifies me. But I know that I am more attracted to women than anyone else. And I know that I feel like I'm probably more sexually compatible with women and romantically. It's just very hard to commit because motherhood is a huge part of me and a huge part of my personality. And it is something that means so much to me. And it's funny because this year I've also been able to get used to the idea of maybe not having children and being alone. Um, but that's not, that's not the ideal. It's just that I've become comfortable with that idea. Um, but if I was to become a mother, just there's so many fears for me around how many steps there are and how like involved other people are in the process when it comes to being queer and trying to explore parenthood in that way with another woman who is like a cis het woman, so has all the same parts as me and is not able to. We're not able to create just on our own, without help, without intervention. And I know that this isn't specifically a queer problem because straight, heterosexual, cisgendered couples have this all the time. Infertility is a thing and struggles with pregnancy are a thing, and that's why IVF exists. And I'm so grateful to be born and alive during this time. But it's so crazy, the way your brain works and what you get caught up on and what you are scared of. And it's one of my fears, and it's a real fear. Like, it really stops me from dating women, from, putting them as a priority on dating apps and considering them and dreaming about my future. It literally is a block. And I'm trying to get over it, and I think that the universe is trying to also push me to get over it because I think that that's going to be my reality. I think that I'm going to end up with a woman, which I'm happy about because I think that that's ultimately what I desire. It's just that I'm so scared because I don't like being out of control when it comes to my body and motherhood and pregnancy. And I know that ultimately I am out of control because even if I were to end up with a cis-het man, or just a cis man, doesn't need to be heterosexual, just a cis man, I know that I'd still be somewhat out of control. I don't know what my fertility is like. I don't know how easy or difficult pregnancy would be for me, getting pregnant would be for me. I don't know anything. So I know it's a problem that's not just specific to being queer, but it's just such a fear for me, and I'm trying to get over it, and I'm trying to, just work past that block so that I can accept the part of myself that seems to really want to come forward and seems to be, my future reality, which is my life as like a queer woman who really lives in her experience because she is with another woman, which is also strange to me because I've never had a queer relationship before. I've only ever had something like a brief encounter. And beyond that, I haven't had anything, so it's a lot altogether. It's very hard to be this way. And of course, I'm excited about the idea of getting to live my life alongside a woman and have love there and raise a family together. And then I have all the fears, and the fears are they're so strong right now. Probably just because, there's a bunch of things going on in my mind. And it's scary trying to also think about how I would integrate their father, through the process of parenthood, because I am one of those people who would want the father to be in their lives. I don't just see them as a donor. I think that fathers are important, and when they can be around, and if they would like to be around and they're a good person, then I think that they should be for me and for my children, our children, whoever I have children with. Because I've just never heard like a story. It's very rare that you hear stories about children who were adopted or born via sperm donor or whatever case where their father isn't a part of their lives or their the biological parent isn't a part of their life. It's rare that you hear that the kids don't desire to find that parent. And so I don't want to put my children in a position where they have to feel like they have to go search for their biological parent, I want them to have access to every part of themselves and everyone who is a part of the creation of them. you know, and I feel like that's just kind of like it's a responsibility that I have as a mother, um, to both the children that I bear, and if my partner would like to bear children, then to those children as well, who are my children. You know, you have to put your ego to the side, your pride to the side, and recognize that men, cis men, play a role in parenthood, and an important role, and not just in the creation of the child, but in the raising of a child. And, you know, they don't just get to be cut out just because I want it to just be me and my woman. You know, it's not like that. And it shouldn't be like that. You know, it takes a village, and every family looks different. And even with families where it's a woman and a man, a cis woman and a cis man, they still need support. They still need other humans, other people, you know, whether it's the grandmother or the auntie or the uncle or the friend or the godmother. There's always so many roles in a child's life. And for me and my wife, you know, there will be the father, and they're there, and I want them to be there. So there's just so many things that I think about, but I'm trying to get over it, and I think that the universe is trying to support me in that. So I'm trying to accept the help and not be so scared, but I am scared. It's a real fear that I have. I'm very scared. I don't like the idea that I won't be able to just naturally just do what I need to do and then have a baby. I don't like the idea that I won't be able to, you know, just do it on my own. I don't like the idea that I need help because, you know, motherhood feels like something that is so natural to me. I don't like the idea that I won't be able to do it on my own. In an ideal world, I would have the father just like, I would just do it on my own, you know, with my partner there. But, you know, I gotta stop being in such control mode and get out of trying to control everything, which I am. I'm not, you know, I'm not like super serious about being completely in control, but it is scary not being able to be. Maybe it's because I have so much cancer in my chart. I'm just such a mother. But it's something that really haunts me, to be honest. But I think I'm starting to kind of move past it a little bit. And I mean, I'm only 24, so I don't really have anything to be scared of right now. But I do need to like get on trying to date women more so that I actually like know what I'm dealing with and like can meet people, because I honestly have not tried very hard, and that's something that I'm very aware of. So there's that too. It's all just a lot. I don't really like, sometimes I'm just like, ugh, you know, and then it just feels easier to be with a man, you know. But I don't think I'm going to be, so I'm gonna have to get over it and figure it out. It's a lot though. Anyways, I just want to share that because I figured there's got to be some other queer women, bisexual women, people who are like feeling the same or struggle with the same thing, and it's just like, you know, it's not all like fun and dandy, you know. And being queer is like, it's nice with some things in terms of like, you know, this is who I am, but it's complicated and it's annoying in terms of the whole parenthood thing. It's like really annoying. And I'm so grateful to live in a time where we have access to like advanced medical solutions that allow me to have children with my partner. And I guess, you know, in one way or another, we've kind of always had access to certain ways, but like if you don't want to have sex with the person, then like, you know. But yeah, I'm grateful to live in this time, and just in a time that's, you know, tolerant. But it's just a lot. It's just something I don't want to think about. You know, I just wish that I could just be with my person and have a child and not need to seek out attention. But I think I need to not think about it as like seeking out medical attention, and just think about it as like this is our natural way of having a baby. I think I need to like reprogram my mind to not see it as so cold and corporate and medical and like intervening in like the natural way. I need to not see it as the antithesis of natural and just see it as what's natural for queer couples, you know, and just acknowledge that I am different and that I do have a different experience and that that's okay. It doesn't lessen my experience of motherhood or pregnancy or parenthood or anything like that. Because I think with the Cancer in my chart, I'm just hyper traditional and I'm like hyper fixated on traditions. And it makes it so that, whenever something comes up in my life that is like going against tradition in terms of a tradition that I really appreciate and admire, such as parenthood and conception and, all those things and motherhood, I tend to see it as like a problem or something like that, but it's not a problem. It's a gift and it's just a different way of life, and there's no right or wrong way to do things. Well, there's a wrong way to do things, but there's, it's not lesser than. It doesn't make me less of a mother. It's not going to cheapen my experience of becoming pregnant and being pregnant and having a child and raising a child. It doesn't lessen my family experience and all those things. Those are things I have to really tell myself. I really wonder if this is like a thing amongst like Cancerian, like queer women, if they struggle with this, like especially like bisexual Cancerian queer women, because like it's a real struggle. It's a strong, strong struggle, and I'm trying to not struggle as much, but it's very real. Anyways, so yeah, I wanted to share my experience because I feel like I'm not alone, and maybe it would be helpful just so other people are like, they don't feel like shit about themselves. But anyways, the good thing is that I have clarity about the fact that I do think I'm going to end up with a woman, which is exciting because like that's kind of what I was hoping for. That was the dream life. But now it's just about, now I have to like actually start trying to date women, which is so scary. It's so scary. It's so scary. The scary part for me is like the sex part of it all. It's not the emotions, it's not anything else. It's the sex, because I've had sex with a woman, but it wasn't good. So I'm like terrified, and it's just not as simple. I feel like sex with a cis man is much more simple. So I'm a little scared about that too. So I have many fears. There's so many fears. But I think it'll be okay. It's gotta be, because like why else am I queer? They couldn't have just like made me queer just to suffer. So like there's gotta be a reason. So anyways, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And I hope you've enjoyed this experience. Okay, bye.